Hi, my name is Przemek Chojecki and I'm super excited to announce that I have my new book, Artificial Intelligence Business, just out. And today on my YouTube channel, I just wanted to present you what's inside the book, what it's worth to buy it, who the book is for exactly, and so on. So first of all, Artificial Intelligence Business is a book about commercial side of AI, machine learning, automation, and it's mostly directed at people who are decision makers at enterprises, entrepreneurs, marketers, salespeople, and all other business oriented people who want to know more about how AI can boost their business, their life, and so on. So it's not really for data scientists per se or machine learning engineers. It's more for business people who wants to get onto the AI train and learn more about the going on revolution. Though there will be some interesting parts also for data scientists and machine learning engineers. So let me show you the content of the book right now. So basically, the whole book starts with what is AI. There's an executive summary of basic techniques like supervised learning, unsupervised learning, reinforcement learning, and going a little bit around that. Plus, I gave example for all those techniques. Then there's a general discussion of how computer science has changed with AI, what's AI paradigm, and this whole shift from actually having to code every single if-then loop to actually being able to just feed in data into neural network and then get some interesting results. Then there's a short history of AI starting from the 50s and going on, basic terminology, and then there are different statistics related to AI. So statistics are basically like how many people are getting hired right now, what's the funding for different startups, enterprises doing AI. So that might be interesting for more the entrepreneur side. Why it is so hard to actually hire machine learning engineers right now? And the answer is there are not so many simply, and different predictions related to how it's going to grow. Then I'm going to the practical side, discussing like how research is done in AI, the benefits of open source community, so of course GitHub and everything you can find on GitHub, which is great, different conferences you can find, and then how to pass from research to applications. And I end this chapter by discussing different cons of using artificial intelligence, because there are cons, of course. Then I jump into enterprises and more mature companies, discussing on how they can progress in maturity levels of AI. This is kind of a metric introduced by Gartner, a research company, and basically it's a way to measure how far your progress in terms of AI applications. And most companies actually are pretty low on this ranking. Because basically they don't have enough talent to apply or they don't know how to start, and this chapter is basically for them to get something started, get the first people on the team, start using some tools around artificial intelligence. And then this chapter basically ends with how to build an innovative culture in enterprises, because actually that's the most common reason why there are not enough innovations in the company, is the fact that the whole mindset is just too old, and there's not too much about openness and sharing ideas and just solving hard problems, no matter what. Then I'm going back to startups with AI and how to make different applications if you're running a smaller company. And I end this series of different companies with basically one person enhanced with AI. So thinking about yourself as a one person startup and how AI can help you boost your productivity, how it can help you in your daily life, in your hobbies, or just if you're a freelancer, how it can help boost your results as a freelancer. So that's thing. And then there's a main part of the whole book, which is trends in artificial intelligence and the machine learning trends coming next. Trends in artificial intelligence is basically the chapter divided into different sections based by industry. So as you can see, this is the list. I'm coming from retail, manufacturing, logistics, up to like healthcare, games, and climate change. And this chapter is basically all the possible startups, what they're doing, what enterprises are doing, how they really applying AI. So it's really practical it shows like real examples of how AI really works in nowadays works. So it can inspire decision makers at those companies in similar sectors, show them what the competitors are doing, and moreover what's missing. So I try to be as specific and as up to date as possible. So taking results from up to 2020, probably the last results I was mentioning in this book were coming from like May 2020. And basically, I wanted to have this whole structure around AI in those different sectors to show that actually, no matter what you do, no matter what business, what kind of business you have, there's always something for you in AI. And what can you do specifically? So I didn't want to promise anything like, AI is not a magic wand that will solve all your problems, but AI is great for certain repetitive processes that are coming up in those sectors, and they're easy to automate often. There are many of tools, and I wanted to mention those. Then we're coming to a little bit more technical machine learning trends. So this is more for non-technical people. The whole book is for non-technical background people, but this chapter is probably a little bit more advanced. But I just wanted to put out everything that is being discussed right now without going into mathematics, but just discussing in general what's out there. So from recent advances on GPT-2, GPT-3 to things like AutoML, so automated machine learning algorithms, self-tuning, like things like one-shot learning, transfer learning, going more deeper into reinforcement learning, computer vision, and then discussing some boundaries of machine learning like federated learning, active learning, what was the encapsulated networks, I think. So a couple of concepts which are there on the frontier of machine learning and what machine learning means, which are being currently discussed in the research community but haven't found really applications, but there's probably something there. So I wanted to mention those as well to show all the decision makers what's going on. But that, as I said, this chapter actually is probably also very beneficial to anyone interested in data science, machine learning per se, and not being an entrepreneur or a marketer or a business person. Then there's a chapter about AI, politics, and society. So I thought it's really important to include that because we have more and more discussions about how AI can actually be harmful. What are the biases? What are the risks of using AI? How we should regulate it? I gave a list of different public programs around the world, starting from the US, going to Europe, like France, Germany, and then to Asia. There are different interesting things going on when it comes to regulations. It's interesting, for example, to note that many of the goals that AI can provide can be also linked to sustainable development goals provided by OECD. So there's something going on when it comes to AI and how it can help our society, but we should also remember about the risks of using AI. And those include, for example, bias. So bias if you have a bias in your data set, then the whole neural network will be biased as well. We should remember that. Transparency, which means an explainability. So we should be able to explain what kind of algorithms are going into what kind of data sets, how they are being used. And it's really important to be transparent, especially if you have very sensitive data and you're making decisions which can influence other people's lives. So for example, decisions related to a particular disease, health issues, privacy issues, it's all coming there. So this chapter is really for discussing more of the cons of using AI and how to prepare for the future. So it might be interesting, especially for people working in more governmental sectors, people doing politics, to show them the scope of what AI can do and cannot do, how it should be regulated. And then the final chapter is the future of AI, basically discussing. So all the previous content from the book was basically very practical. I wanted to give as many examples as possible of different companies, different policies, regulations, this algorithms. And the last chapter is more philosophical, and it comes down basically to discussing AGI, what's AGI, what's artificial general intelligence, and how it's really the last of the inventions that humankind will make in the end. So it starts with this subchapter called "We're all cyborgs," which means that basically, if you're using a smartphone, if you're connected to the internet all the time, then basically you are a cyborg already. The smartphone is already an extension of your body, and most of the people, especially in the West, are doing that. So we are all cyborgs, and then I'm coming from cyborgs to artificial general intelligence and how it can influence probably every single aspect of our life. Uh, so I'm ending on this note. Yeah, so this is basically the book. Yeah, this is the already the introduction. So maybe show you how it starts. Uh, it starts with executive summary, as I mentioned before, and these basic explanations of what is machine learning, and then going on with that, big data. Yeah, and there's a table with like very simple explanations of how machine learning works. So, for example, you have as an input voice recording, the output is a transcript, and application is speech recognition. So for example, you want to predict future market data, you give as an input historical market data, and the application is having trading bots who are trading on stock exchange. So this is a couple of examples to make it really practical. So for example, I can show you one of the chapters how it looks like when it comes to, for example, image recognition. So page 89. Let me just show you that. This is one of the chapters I like. So image generation is a chapter about deepfakes and how deepfakes are being used in media currently, in Hollywood, and what's going on. So as you can see, this chapter is basically explaining what are deepfakes, how image generation works, and then going into particular startups. So for example, this one is AI Factory, acquired by Snapchat recently. Different things about Samsung, and then I'm coming to Hollywood with the example from The Irishman, the recent movie put on Netflix, where actors Robert De Niro and Al Pacino were digitally de-aged in the film using AI. So this is one of the things. Then different collaborations, for example, Warner Bros. With Synalytic, and the whole chapter looks like that. That you have these examples you have from different sub niches and how they use image generation. So this is how the trends looks like. I will show you another chapter. So from the perspective of a person interested in doing something at an enterprise, the whole chapter powering enterprises with AI, page 37. So let me find that. Page 37. Yep, this is 37. So basically, this is discussing this Gartner's concept of AI maturity levels, from awareness, activeness to being in transformational stage, and AI being a part of business DNA of a given company. And what I discuss here is basically how to go from level 0, no awareness at all, to level 5, and what you can do along the way to progress. So it is a really simple guide. It's probably the very first step that you should take when it comes to AI. And of course, there's much more to be said around that. I want it to be concise, and put that in as simple words as possible, because I know that often people are looking for like a simple guides to start doing something with AI. It's not often clear what to do. So in general, this is basically the book that I wanted to show you, my artificial intelligence business. Yeah, so thank you for watching this video. You can buy the book directly on my website or on Amazon. It's both coming as a paperback and an ebook. So I will give you links to both my website, where the book is a little bit cheaper, and to Amazon, where you can buy also the paperback format. And if you have any feedback, please let me know in the comments. I'm happy to answer questions. As you can see, the book is concise. It's 150 pages long, but it's very dense also, in the sense like there are many references. There's really no overextending arguments. It's really like more of the engineering approach to how AI should be understood in business, how it can be applied in business. So if you're looking for a guide like that, this might be perfect, especially if you want to join this AI revolution as a business person. Then I believe that this is truly the unique guide you should get, because there are no other books like that. There are a couple of books about AI in business, but they are either more on the just couple of examples without the whole theory of how you should progress in different stages and apply it to your company, or they're just discussing different more algorithmic trends in AI. And this somehow joins the two words of being able to discuss AI with engineers, but also apply it to your own business. So thank you for watching. Of course, please subscribe to my channel and give me a like if you like this video, and see you in the next episode. Thank you.